Hello YouTube, Moose Cow here. It is round 9, France's turn for our game of Kings and Kaisers. And things are not looking good for the Allies. Not looking good at all. So much so that I am going to wrap this game up now and concede to the Central Powers, to concede to Madman. He played a heck of a job. He exploited many things that occurred throughout the game and took full advantage of them, as he should have. Yeah, just it was a brutal game against the Allies the whole time, pretty much. I do want to correct one thing on his German video. He had my UK disposition wrong. I only had one French unit here in Belgium, one French infantry here. Everything else backed out to there, and the British moved to Picardy, not to Belgium, so that would have affected his attack. He had my guys in Belgium, so he wouldn't have attacked here. He would have probably brought them down to Alsace like with everybody else. One thing I was considering doing at some point in the game with his units up here, if he kept them all up here in Belgium, I might have just knocked out Switzerland to threaten Bavaria, but very unlikely. Anyway, but because the French actually do have poison gas, it's possible that they could have gotten the 6 hits against Switzerland here to not even get any casualties in the process, but they would have been able to wipe out Switzerland, I think. Side note, in terms of our neutral rules setup, Switzerland is the one exception. It has only one IPC, but more than 2 units get placed there. We decided to put six infantry get placed in Switzerland, and because of the Alps, it makes taking Switzerland far less tempting, because you really can only pass through this way. You can't go north and south and stuff like that. But anyway, I digress. Little side note. But yeah, anyway, moving on to my concession to Madman. Here's what we're looking at for the points. The Allies, well, they don't really have that anymore. Western Front's tied. Favorable trade. They don't really have 1, 2, 3. Well, I guess they technically still have this. They do still have this, but they could easily lose it. Central Powers have Mediterranean point, they have the Balkans point, they have the Black Sea point, they have the Suez Canal, which is huge. They also have Belgrade, they have the Empire point, super convincingly. I think they're at 100 IPCs or even more. Let's see. They have, of course, they did the Russian Revolution. He thinks that the Allies have Fate of Russia, but I am telling you, man, he is going to. I don't know what he's thinking. He has it. China, Allies have it because of their intervention. Pacific colonies, they have it. Central Powers have the Africa point, and they also have the city of Sofia. They have Rome, which we forgot to put on here. This map has now been updated, and these cities are in alphabetical order, and a couple other things added in. And both Allies and the Central Powers have the 3 minor city point, with the Central Powers having 5 minor cities. But I think they actually have more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have 8. Oh, so actually no, they have even that. Wow, yes, because they have. Let's see, they have. Oh, right, hold on, no, what? Yeah, they have Baku. The only minor cities that the Allies have are Peking, Shanghai, Basra. Central Powers have Algiers, although I could take that one back. They have Cairo. They have Kiev. They have Warsaw. They have Venice. They have Ypres, however you say it. And that, which is a missing one as well, is what's the remaining one? Bucharest. So yeah, we have updated it with those 2 added in, as well as a few other things, and alphabetizing this. But anyway, point being, if we take this, get rid of this, right? The Central Powers are winning with at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. At the very least, they have 8 points on me. There's no way I can knock down the 8, 9 points in the round and a half that I have left. There's no way. It's just not happening, so we're going to wrap this up and concede now. This game has been very, very informative, very helpful, because how this particular game played out. It helped address a few issues. The map is still solid. The map is still solid. We are not changing the map at all, but we will be revising some national objectives and also some setup things. One of the things that we're changing is Austria-Hungary. Austria-Hungary in this game is so strong, and in the out-of-box game, they're strong. And we didn't change the Austria-Hungary setup with the exception of adding 2 cavalry. We added 2 cavalry in the capital. And then we also swapped Bulgaria to being pro-Austro-Hungary, not pro-Ottomans. At the same time, we took those units and dispersed them into Ottoman Empire's setup. So essentially that actually gives Central Powers a double dip and just makes them too strong. So basically what we're doing is we're taking away the 5 infantry and 1 artillery that the Austrians gain here. We are deducting that from their setup. In addition, we are deducting up here in Germany, and this is another setup change. With Germany, we split Prussia and East Prussia up from 1 territory to 2. And we also gave Germany an additional 3 artillery and 6 infantry right there on top of that. So obviously this is very strong. To compensate for us adding that to Germany, we are also deducting that many more infantry and artillery from Austria-Hungary's setup. Additionally, we are moving the cavalry to Bohemia, and there are not going to be any artillery in Bohemia at the start of the turn, and that way they cannot tow artillery at the start of the game. So that's one thing we're changing, and then their national objectives. This is just like a little sneak peek. Where did I put them? Oh, here. So let's see. We're removing Veneto from this, and from this national objective, and it's only going to be while at war with the Russian Empire. So once armistice with the Russian Empire occurs, they don't get this bonus anymore. And then here, if essential powers control, that one's staying the same. And then this one, we might be adding, where is it? The Veneto from that territory, from this national objective, we might be shuffling that one over to here as well, possibly. That's something we're considering, but definitely the other one, changing it to while at war with the Russian Empire. So that's one thing we're changing from there. And similarly with the Ottomans, the units that we added to the Ottomans, we're removing those as well. They'll still get the cavalry. We're going to change the placement of them so that they more than likely cannot be used to tow artillery right away on the first turn, especially if the Ottoman Empire doesn't get in the war on the first turn. That actually had the way we had it before. It allows them to mobilize. I would say to mobilize not mobilize, but it allows them to distribute themselves with impunity, basically, because of the cavalry's starting positions and stuff like that. So we're changing that. So instead of a cavalry here and a cavalry here and a cavalry here, we're going to have a cavalry here, a cavalry here, and a cavalry in the Syrian desert. So there is 1 artillery here, but if they're at war with the Allies right away, the Allies will jump onto them there in Palestine anyway. But 1 cavalry and an infantry will be in the Syrian desert, and then a cavalry and an infantry will be in Armenia. And outside of that, they have their units. Additionally, with the Ottomans, we're going to change their national objectives because, as you may have noticed, they had most of them throughout the game. So where is it? We're trying to change this one a little bit to include some more territories, I think. Or this one and another one we're going to change. This one is going to be only while at war with the Russian Empire. And then Greece and Bulgaria. We might add Albania into this one. And let's see, this one's going to be revised to get rid of the round 5 thing. And then what is this? Caucasus, Crimea, or Romania? I think that one's going to stay put, actually. Maybe this one while at war with the Russian Empire as well. And then so these 2 will become at war with the Russian Empire. Let's see. Pretty much. The big ones at least are those, but that's just like a tip of the iceberg pretty much. But yeah, definitely those changes the Ottomans, those changes with Austro-Hungarians. Additionally, once the national protection war was looking like Central Power favor, the Allies can come in there and pretty much attack them with impunity. And so, especially per the request of Madman, we have talked about giving China a national objective. If the Allies invade, if the Allies attack China, then China gets a plus 10 IPC's national objective, because it'd be an all-out invasion, and that would give, the people of China would rise up and unify, and more so it'd be more so of like a big dire threat of like that massive invasion and stuff like that. Whereas if the Allies win in China and then they become at war with the Central Powers, they don't need that national objective because it's not as dire of a situation for them, etc., etc. We've also talked about maybe offsetting it, having them stay as neutral. Maybe can move within their own territories, but basically Britain can gain a national objective if the Allied portion of China wins, to kind of reflect even though China declared war on the Central Powers, they mostly just sent a labor force to help them out, more so than like actually sending soldiers and stuff like that. So that can be reflected with the national objective, possibly something we might consider. Also, I think we're going to change the rule about mobilization. So China and Russian Civil War, currently you can mobilize in territories as long as they're contested at the start of your turn. We're going to get rid of that. That's going out of the window. It totally games things. So China and Russian Civil War, they can mobilize in territories that they just capture, but if it's contested, they can't, unless, and this is the same thing with the other territories, you cannot mobilize in a territory unless it contains a city. So if this is contested like normal, a capital, if this is contested in Moscow, then the Soviets can still mobilize in there, right? Because it's their city, it's their capital. Verdun, if it's contested at the start of the turn, then the French can mobilize in there. But if the French make it contested at the start of their turn, they can't mobilize in there. And that rule is unchanged, but it'll match basically with that. So you can only mobilize in contested territories if a city is involved. So you'll not be able to mobilize in contested Chinese territories. You will not be able to mobilize in contested Russian Civil War territories. So this standoff here, this isn't going to happen anymore. Him mobilizing in contested Kazan right away, that's not going to happen anymore. Things like that. What else? But yeah, so basically what we're talking about, making it more off-putting for the Allies to come in and take China, because some people might want to just game. Madman's concern is about gaming it right away, and Allies just invading China, saying, screw the German Pacific Islands, let's go and take over China for the points, the IPCs. But I do feel like in the very beginning of the game, they're not going to want to do that. It's too awkward to do that at the start of the game, in my opinion. But who knows? Madman's always crazy. He's always got schemes, so we'll see. Here is just a kind of an overview. Here's the boneyard dish from the last round and the top of this round. So you can see a lot of stuff got killed. It's still fun to play this out. It's still fun to see what happens, but this game was just a huge steamroll very early on. What I should have done as Britain, and this was a good learning experience just to see how things pan out. I let Germany convoy Britain 7 turns in a row. 7 turns in a row I was losing. I lost at least 70 IPCs and more due to that convoy there. That horrible, horrible convoy. But that would be appropriate. That would make sense and stuff, right? So there's that. What I should have done was, instead of dealing with all of the chaos that was happening over here, I should have put off parting that for a round and just saved my money and just mobilized everything in 19 and attacked or whatever. And should have done that, could have done that, would have done that, shoulda, coulda, but it is what it is. Also, this military base that Germany got on the first round, that was huge, and that is what tied me up so much down here, split my attention with everything. And ultimately I was never even able to get close to taking it because he got a machine gun Then first he got a machine gun. Then he got poison gas. Then he got trench works. He had 4 techs in this territory. It's crazy. I'm surprised. I'm honestly shocked he didn't come down. That he backed out of here when he did, and he didn't just come down here, because he absolutely could have taken this like 3 turns ago, and he just didn't. And then over here, we have this annoying stone wall over here in Caucasus. I've been building up here with the UK, with Britain, this entire game, trying to get a force going and just unable to. And now the Ottomans are coming over here, and I don't have the forces over here. And we have this huge Austrian. It's just a mess. So we're aiming to give Austria-Hungary way less money and less units. Same thing with the Ottomans. Because we really didn't offset with the additional units. We didn't really offset the added units to Ottomans, in my opinion, too much. We do give the Allies 3 infantry in Belgian Congo, Angola, and Portuguese East Africa. So Britain gets those units, and then we have the 3 Ottoman territories that each get 1 infantry, 1 cavalry in each. And as you can see, Germany just aligned dervish state. Yeah, I mean, it's work in progress. We're getting there. We're getting there, guys. I swear to God, we're getting there. But it's still cool. It's still a fun game. I do really enjoy this game, but this particular one was just a landslide against me. Just bad. A couple bad decisions. If I had gone in, it would probably be suiciding the British, but if I had gone in and knocked out Caucasus or contested Caucasus when I did, instead of letting the Ottomans take this territory, that would have held off the Russian Civil War when we're around. And I didn't do that because I didn't want to lose my British force. But yeah, we've had this thing of non-aggression over here. It's been crazy, and then because of all of this, America had to spend so much on cruisers when it should be building land units to compensate for this. So yeah, we have this force coming down in here, but I just don't have enough land units to really make a difference. Like, look how much, this is in Tuscany, but look how much he has in Rome. I knew I was conceding, so I didn't bother cleaning this up. He has an absurd amount of stuff in Greece. He's got cruisers with the Ottomans now over here. He's got all this stuff in the Balkans. There's just no way I can make enough of a dent in anything here. So it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. We'll definitely be doing a rematch. We're definitely going to change a few of the national objectives, like I said. Might add a couple, make it a little bit easier for Britain to get a few national objectives. Because it was rare. If anything, we have 4 national objectives for Britain, and if anything, I only got 1 at a time. One at a time at most. France did fairly okay, minus the huge battle that happened there in Belgium and stuff like that. Like, I still have this stuff left, but it doesn't matter too much. That's all in the rain. Against this huge German force here with all the artillery. There's just not much I can do. So anyway, that's that. Game is over. Central Powers have won. Congratulations to you, Madman, and I'm looking forward to a rematch, of course, once we get things ironed out a little bit. And I also have another reason we're conceding now is that this would just drag out for a bit, because this week I am extremely busy. So after this week, probably we'll get another rematch going and go from there. But yeah, stay tuned for more Kings and Kaisers action, because this will not be the last time you see this.